The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Jungle with yours truly, the Chief Happiness Officer, Lyn-Dee Eldridge. I'm very excited today. I'm always excited, aren't I? But I'm really excited right now to share another 30 minutes with an amazing woman who I met through a friend online. Talk about inner circle and law of attraction. Wow. Mary Hart, freelance writer and editor. She resides here in New Hampshire, and there's so much more to her. And today's topic is, yes, you can. So, hi, Mary.
Hi,
welcome
Lyn-Dee.
to our set, Happiness Jungle.
Thank you, and thanks for having me. This
Oh,
is great.
my
I love
goodness.
it.
Well, I appreciate you. You know, as we were getting to learn about one another, I want you to share exactly what it is that you do, how long you've been doing it, and why. Because I know this isn't something that you've always done, the freelance writer and editor, and speak about ghostwriting, because you know why? There's a lot of people out here that would love to be an author. They were told they have a book within them, but they have no idea how to pursue that dream.
Right. And how
So
to make
we're
it
going to
happen.
share that so they
Yes, we
know
will.
the steps.
That sounds great. I have been a freelance writer and editor for about 2 years now. I started out just because after a corporate layoff, it was, I was in lead gen marketing for years and years and years before that, and there was a corporate layoff, it happens, and I decided, you know what, let me try and see what I can do on my own. So I'd been working from home for the past 4 years before that for a company in New York, and I can't really commute from, up here in northern New Hampshire to New York every single day.
Especially in the winter.
No, that would be not fun at all. I don't like driving in the snow. I don't know about you, but no. I did a little 360 on 93 once, and that never again. I was fine. Everyone was
Thank
fine.
God.
The angels were with me.
Yes.
Everything was good, but yeah, no, we have no need to do that again.
Yeah, no. Okay.
So I did that commute for a while, and I understood how to work from home, and my commute was up the stairs. It was the worst commute ever, let me tell you. It was just awful. And so once I lost that job, I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to strike out on my own. And I had a lot of past bosses reach out to me about freelancing for them.
Oh, wow.
And that talk about keeping those relationships going and networking and making sure that you have the right energy with people.
So you kept doors open. You never
Yes.
left.
No.
What I think I'm hearing is that you've never left a place with the door closed.
Correct. No, never. I wouldn't do that. I wanted to always make sure
matter
that I had.
what.
No. Yeah. I always wanted to make sure that I had that good relationship with people, and a lot of them had either left the companies on their own and gone to other jobs that they'd started, or they just it's my mannerism of always being friendly with people and keeping that that relationship going, and just creating a bond with them so that they wanted to naturally then work with me after that layoff. And it was a layoff of like 80 people with a 200-person company. It happens.
It happens.
Exactly.
And you know what? There's a lot of you out
Yep.
there that are in that situation where you've either lost your job, you feel like your job is on the line, there's something going on, and maybe you don't have the author within you, but maybe there's something else that you want to do. And that's why I'm so attracted to having you on my show, Mary, is because you followed your passion 2 years ago.
No, that wasn't my passion
That
2
was
years ago.
not-
That wasn't even on my radar.
Right?
Yep.
And now you're living and you're working your passion
Yes.
while making a difference.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm working to every day, why I do what I do is that I'm fascinated by people's stories. I want to hear all of your stories out there. I want to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And that's the writer in me that has to always kind of dig a little deeper to find out, what motivates a person, what's making them do something, what's causing this race to happen, what's causing this Paralympian to be a Paralympian. And it's just always that focus of just wanting to find out more and then share that story with the world to help, broaden their horizon even further.
There's a lot of people out there that have no idea what a ghostwriter means.
Yes.
So they're kind of stuck because they're like, I don't even know how to write a book. I don't know what to do.
Yep.
there are people out here in the world that are called ghostwriters.
Hi.
That's right, exactly. Hello. Mary Hart.
Yes.
And what she does is you tell the story and she writes your book. That's what a ghostwriter is. So when you start seeing books that are coming out, let's use Trump, let's use Hillary Clinton,
Exactly.
let's use whoever we want to, even Steve Jobs, for goodness
Absolutely.
sakes. They have
I'm
authored,
sure they were ghost written. Yes.
100%.
Oh yeah. Not even a
So
question.
yeah, I just want everybody to know that yes, that is an outlet for, you could contact Mary and she could really go over the details
Absolutely.
of how simple it really is to get your message out there in a book form.
And I think of a book like Chris Harrison, the producer of The Bachelor. He wrote this book, The Perfect Letter. And it's like those Nicholas Spark books where it's a romance novel. And I was sitting here reading it and it really sounded like the voice of a woman. So either Chris Harrison has a really strong feminine side, guys, which I don't think so. Nothing against you, Chris. But
Right.
I think it was ghost written by a woman. Like he found someone, he had the idea, he wanted someone to write it, and they wrote it and went with it and made the book happen. And that's the same thing for blog posts, for articles, for anything. The company can hire a ghostwriter to write blog posts for their site. It's happened, more often than you think.
Wow.
I mean, even there, I wouldn't not
Do you
gonna
also
name names.
do like virtual assistant?
I haven't done that. I've worked with a lot of virtual
editing
assistants
stuff?
and actually helping virtual assistants write their blog posts, their
Oh my
articles, their
gosh.
ebooks.
So
Yeah.
they get hired and then they hire you.
Exactly, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Or they're actually, they want to provide their services to more people so they know what they are doing, but they
Yeah.
don't know how to write about it.
Wow.
So I talk to them, find out what it is they do, and create the marketing material for them. So that's what a ghostwriter would do, to create the marketing material or to create the blog post of how great your company is and
That's
what it's
fabulous.
for. Yeah.
Now let's go into something that comes really stemming from your
Yes,
heart.
sure.
Okay, you are making a huge difference, and I did say huge. I know I say H wrong. I got that. I've been told that all my life. Huge. That's
You're
for
the
my
one who started
granddaughter.
it, not Trump.
Exactly. So huge. That's for my granddaughter Brianna, because she always teases me about that. But I'm tears are brought to my eyes because I want you. Tears of joy. Tears of joy. Because yes, you can do anything.
Oh, yes.
And I want you to share with us what you have gotten involved in
Sure.
and what an impact it has made.
Well, I can tell you first, the reason of why that Yes You Can is so important to me is because I have a 14-year-old son who has Asperger's and is on the autism spectrum. At age 15 months or so, he wasn't pointing, wasn't talking, etc. So we had him evaluated, and we worked with someone, and they told us that, you know what, he's somewhere on the autism spectrum. We're not sure, we don't think he's ever going to have any kind of imagination, not sure, how his mind will develop, etc. He has worked so hard with his occupational therapists and his school, and they are seriously just sent from somewhere because they've just been amazing with him. He tested out of his speech. He tested out of a lot of the occupational therapy he needed for sensory issues. And now he comes up every day. We play his game of EFW, which is extreme figure wrestling. With his wrestling figures, he creates this whole thing. He wants to be the writer of it and create the whole idea of what the games are going to be, who's going to be against who, what moves they're going to do. We do like these fake pay-per-views and, wrestling competitions.
Do you have a place where people could go and learn from you? Because there are so many people that have the same, challenges.
It's funny you say that because I haven't, but a good friend of mine actually told me that I should write a book about being a mother of a child on the autism spectrum and how to help them develop.
The
It's just not out
how-tos,
there.
the active portions of
Exactly,
it.
yes.
That's what the Happiness Jungle is all
Yeah.
about. It's about taking action, not just
Right.
reading a book.
Exactly.
Give one strong tip right now how somebody could start
Yeah.
that little process. Now, this is the beginning. It's going to start. And then you could always contact Mary Hart, and she could help you because There's another book within you.
No, absolutely.
No doubt.
The way to start is to definitely make sure that you contact an early intervention as soon as possible, or make sure that you get the right kind of special needs person to work with your child.
How do they find it, though? Because so many title themselves as experts.
For me, it was going to my son's doctor, his pediatrician, and we were lucky enough to have a neighbor whose son also has Asperger's or something akin to that. So she's the one who said, go to get him evaluated by your doctor, and they'll turn you into the local early intervention specialist. But you can also talk to a school or get evaluated by a neuropsychologist.
Can I ask you something? When they go to the center that they were recommended to,
yes,
and they start speaking to somebody, and they don't feel the connection, should they just walk out, or should they ask another solution and say, is there somebody else?
Yeah, they usually have a coordinator, and then they have the people who are the actual therapists.
Okay.
And I know we went through a couple of different therapists before we found one that actually worked well with Adam and didn't just want to blow bubbles at him to see what he'd do. And shockingly, he liked them. He was kind of bored by the bubbles because, it just wasn't anything interesting to him. But you need to really, be the advocate for your child. Be the person who's going to help them, develop the skills they need and keep pushing them. We had years of when my son just wasn't, motivated academically. And then last year, you find the topic that's interesting to him. Last year, he was able to, he got his first A in science class. He'd never had an A before in his life. And he got his first A, and I said, Adam, what happened? How did you do that? He's like, Mom, it was astronomy. He's been reading astronomy books since he was 5 years old.
My goodness.
So it's all, no matter if he had paid attention in class or not, that was all in his brain. And he can just tell you, about all these Pluto's moons and
so find their strengths.
Yes.
Don't keep going after the weaknesses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Strengthen their strengths.
Yeah, if you find something that they're interested in, run with that and get as many books as you can about that topic and help them learn more about that. And watch TV shows and just be there with them, interact with them, and play with them. His favorite time is just to sit with me and my husband and watch a wrestling show and just talk about what's going on and the background of the stories. And
do you just have one child?
Yes, just the one child.
So he's your main focus. Yep. Okay. Let's talk to the family that has a few children or two children, and they're really torn with how to be able to divide that time. Yeah. That's a necessity.
Absolutely.
How can that work?
There's time that you have when your other children are either working on homework or they're playing games, outside, or playing video games, or maybe they can have some iPad time while you spend your time devoted to that one child.
Good.
And then give them individual time as well, because you don't want them to think, because I don't have such and such, I don't get the time with my parents.
Right. So then when you want to have alone time or quality time, then you'll also give your son or your daughter an activity to do as well.
Yep, they'll get the iPad and they'll be psyched.
I'd be psyched too,
exactly, right?
Wow. You also shared another story with me.
Yes, I did. Part of what I've been writing about recently is about the Paralympians and the Paralympic Games, which I know so many people out there probably don't know even happened, which makes me sad personally. Because
they don't even know what a Paralympian is. Can you please share that first?
A Paralympian is someone with a disability who is participating in a game just like the Olympics, and they're happened in Rio, and it was the same place where the Olympics were held just a few weeks later, and they didn't make the news on Channel 4 or whatever. They were on live streamed and sometimes on NBCSN, but they're still as devoted to the sport, and they actually the runners broke the Team USA's the actual Olympic record because they ran faster than the actual not able-bodied people were able to do so. But through some work I've been doing, we've been promoting the Paralympics because we work, it's part of a company that helps people with disabilities find jobs. And so for them, I'm doing a lot of social media posts, etc., and focusing on a bunch of different Paralympians. And so many, the stories, Lyn-Dee, they just make your heart, it's amazing. I hope I didn't just kill the mic. One of them is a girl named Lauren DeLuca. She's 17 years old. She has cerebral palsy, and she's a wheelchair fencer. She was the only Team USA wheelchair fencer participating in Rio against all these people from all these other countries. She started out as an able-bodied fencer, but she spends more and more time in a wheelchair just because of the nature of what she has. And she was actually recruited by Team USA Fencing back in 2013 to be a wheelchair fencer for them. She has competed in,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, that was when she was 14. Think about when you were 14. I know when I was 14, heck, when I was 17, she's 17 years old competing in the Paralympics. I was 17 years old. I was a shy little mouse hanging out in my room at home reading my books. I'm like, the thought of being out competing in the world, a Paralympian? Are you kidding me? But she...
And look at you today. You're a shining star, for goodness sakes.
It's crazy. I mean, that happens from meeting my husband, who is seriously the shyest person on the planet. So one of us had to break out of our shell to talk, and apparently it fell on me. So,
how long are you married?
Oh, gosh. I met him in 95.
Wow. Okay, I want to go. I want to talk about that, but let's go back.
Yeah, Lauren DeLuca.
Yes, let's go back to Lauren.
She won gold in 2014, 2015, 2016 at the Pan American Championship, and she went on to become the only wheelchair fencer for Team USA. Is that crazy? 17 years old. It's just amazing. It makes my heart sing. And then there are so many other people. There's a wheelchair rugby person named Chuck Aoki, and Team USA, go Team USA wheelchair rugby, they won the silver. And Chuck Aoki scored 111 of the goals for that game against Australia. And he was born with a hereditary issue where he can't feel anything below his knees. So he spends all of his life in his wheelchair, most of his time. And he was playing wheelchair basketball, and he was, doing quite well at it. And then he saw the movie Murderball, which is about, if you don't know, it's a movie about a wheelchair rugby team and about how the competition... Murderball. Okay. Yep. It sounds horrifying, but it's not. It's a documentary.
I got to get
about Team USA
I have to write that down.
Murderball. Yep. Competing in the Paralympics against Canada. And he was just blown away by the physicality of it and the intensity of wheelchair rugby. So he turned on to wheelchair rugby, and he then went on to play and compete and was selected for Team USA and scored 111 goals for them to help them win the silver.
What?
Is that crazy?
Fantastic.
Yeah. He also loves playing word games and Scrabble and wants to be a teacher, which I think is just amazing.
Boy, they sure do excel.
Exactly. It's just crazy. And then the last one I want to talk about of the Paralympians is a woman named Alana Nichols. She loves snowboarding. Loved snowboarding. Thought it was great. I've never been snowboarding or skiing in my life. I'm just such a klutz. It would be a disaster waiting to happen. We don't want to make that happen ever. I will stay off the slopes, and you guys can all
Bunny
play.
trail?
Yeah, no, I know, right? Maybe. I mean, I would accidentally wind up on like the Black Diamond or something, and that would be horrifying. So we just won't do it. We'll just stay safe. We've already talked about I don't want to drive in the snow. I sure as heck don't want to fall down a tree into snow. But anyhow, Alana Nichols, she was a snowboarder until age 17. Again, 17. I don't know what the synchronicity is with that number of these stories, but hey. And she was attempting a backflip, landed on her back on a rock. Yeah,
oh my
I think you can see where this is going. She was left paralyzed from the waist down. But she still wanted to be competitive and be an athlete. And she took up alpine skiing in her wheelchair and swimming. And so she was then, and wheelchair basketball, but then she competed in the Paralympics in wheelchair basketball and in alpine skiing in both the summer and the winter. And then at the one in Sochi, the Paralympics, the Winter Games, she had another crash. And she dislocated her jaw and had a concussion, got up from it, and was able to compete. How old is she now? Oh, she's probably in her 30s now, probably, or early 20s, not sure. But she was then, it's just amazing. She said, okay, you know what? I'm thinking anything to snow, not for me. But so she turned to another form of it and went to the water. And she started surfing. And she started being a competitive surfer and a competitive wheelchair canoeist. And she competed in the Paralympics in the wheelchair canoe race.
Stopping her.
No, nothing.
Yes,
not even
you can.
remotely. Yeah, exactly. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So the stories are just, I don't want to say inspirational because I know that's the word that no Paralympian wants to hear is that they're inspirational, but just brings awe and makes me realize that, there's so much that you have one life, and there's so much you can do with it. And if you
They
just
don't
make
want
it
to be
happen.
called inspirational. What
No.
do they like to be called?
They like to be
Because
yeah, it's not even, they just
changed
want to be,
people's lives,
yeah, they
so-
just want to be called, people as known as not heroes so much as just someone that, just like you'd think of a regular able-bodied athlete as someone who that you want to look up to, and
A
not
mentor.
for exactly, not for their disability, but just for their own accomplishment,
Right.
like the runners of the Paralympic team who are able to outrun the able-bodied,
Right.
and you don't hear about that at all. So it's just kind of strange.
That
yeah.
is very, very
Yeah.
strange. Well, how inspiring.
Yes.
Yes,
You
can.
Yes.
Everything and anything is possible with the right mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. And now we're going to talk about
Oh gosh.
being really, really
Yes,
shy.
I was so shy. I can't even tell you. I spent my senior year at high school during lunch, and Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, I don't think you knew this, but every lunchtime I spent in the library, just because the thought of going into the cafeteria, I just didn't
And your
want
parents
to.
never knew?
I don't think so. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
Because I just didn't want them to know that I wasn't the, happiest kid on the block. I mean, they knew I was shy. Hello.
Right.
Yeah, the oldest of 4 kids. How could they not know? But just, it was just, I was just so, not socially awkward, but just didn't want to participate in the thought of trying to find somewhere to sit or trying to find.
Wow.
So I just go into the library and be with my books. So that was high school, but then college, I found my people. I found best friends who I'm still good friends with, who helped me to figure out who I am. And
How did that process start?
it started just with a random assignation of 2 freshman roommates in college, because we shared a 3-person room. And back then, there was no Facebook. There was no internet.
Right.
You were exchanging photos and letters in the mail and phone calls trying to
You
figure out
don't
who
look
these
that
people are.
old, so I'm having a hard time digesting that.
Thank you. This was back in 1990 when I was in
Wow.
freshman in college.
Okay.
So yeah, but it was just, part of just being away from the people who had known me as this shy little person growing up, and being somewhere different where I could kind of make myself, be a whole new start. Yeah.
You took yourself out of your old environment, brought yourself into a new environment, and you adapted better than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And just
Wow.
finding people who, liked the weird things that I liked,
Right.
liked reading, liked being.
You sound like you found more of your inner circle. More
I
of
definitely
your...
did. I mean, one of my best friends, my friend Lisa, is still my best friend these many years later.
How'd
And
you meet your husband?
I met him.
Mr. Shy,
oh gosh,
too.
I met
That's
him.
funny.
I met him through a dating agency, actually. Together Dating, which doesn't, I don't think, exist anymore. But I had just moved up from the Cape. He doesn't drink, so he would never have gone to a bar in his life. And I signed up to meet 3 people. He signed up to meet 3 people. I actually met 4, because one of them I just felt so ill that from something I'd eaten that day that I couldn't go, and I thought I was done. I thought for sure I was done with meeting anyone. I'm like, good, I'm done. I can be done with this. This was just a disaster. And so I get this 4th piece of paper in the mail with, oh, you have to meet this guy. I'm like, no, he has the same last name as my ex. This is not okay. They better not be related. And so I called him. And unlike the other guys who they were just awful dates. Just, there's no energy, no clicking, nothing. I was just like, I'm done. But they were great phone calls, like fantastic phone calls. I was all enthused to meet them. With my husband, I had the shortest phone call I've ever had in my life, because he also hates the phone. Very much so. And so I was like, okay, you know
2
what?
shy people on a dating
it was
site.
not good. I was like, okay, you know what? We're just going to meet for coffee one day after work, and I'll
Get
meet
it
you for like
done.
5 minutes, and then I can say I'm done with this whole thing.
Right.
And then I was sitting there. I got there early. I was sitting there. I brought a manuscript with me, because I was a book editor at the time for a computer reference publisher. And I'm like, you know what? If this doesn't work out, I'll just read and edit and fine, whatever. And then he walked in, and I'm like, oh, you're cute. Like, wait, is that actually? And I'm like, okay, I might have to change my mind here. He was tall, dark, handsome, the whole 9 yards. And so He walked in, we started talking. We started talking. I started talking because I realized he was very, very shy. And so I actually got, some conversation out of him. And we decided to meet up again to go see a movie. Copycat was our first date, which I don't at all recommend as a first date for someone you don't know, especially when they spend the whole time talking about how guys in their 30s or late 20s, early 30s who are, tall and neat and, quiet are the serial killers. Not a good idea, guys. Thankfully, he's not, or at least he's hiding it really well.
How long are you married?
We've been married since 1998.
Wow.
So however long that is, I'm horrible with math. This is
That's
why I'm
good. A long time.
Yes, he's the math person. He works in accounting, so he can be the math person. But yeah, we made a plan, gave a hug in the parking lot, and then we went to go see Copycat. And shockingly, I didn't run screaming away from the concept of the serial killer thing. And yeah, we just.
Can you imagine?
No.
Fourth date, you weren't going to go.
I was not going to go at all. Because the first guy I met, they were like, "Oh, he's so handsome. He's like Tom Cruise," and he was. And I have nothing against no heightest things, anything here, but he was seriously like about 5 inches shorter than me, and thought he was Tom Cruise. Seriously thought he was the bee's knees.
Like the Napoleon
complex.
complex.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, he seriously thought he was great. And he had no interest in me whatsoever because I was tall, Amazon person. He's like, oh, no. Got the fake call from a friend halfway through. And I'm like, no, I'll stop. Thanks.
Got it.
And I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Wow.
But, yeah, so then I just started, I started being more outgoing and finding that I actually liked talking to people.
Do you feel like, because you had to overcompensate for your husband's shyness, that brought you out of your shyness?
Yes.
Because you're anything but shy.
Oh, yeah,
now.
no, I'm not shy anymore at all. Yeah, it's
That's
funny
great.
thinking back to that little girl who would hide away instead of having to meet new people, and now I go out to networking events and go up to talk to people I don't know.
And you know what I love about it is that you came right back to your passion of being a writer.
Yes,
and editor.
absolutely. I mean, that's always been
there. You used to go into the library
there.
to hide.
Yes, and that's probably
then
where I
here we
read
are.
all the ghost stories that I now want to write my own ghost book, and yeah.
You are a woman of so much greatness. I give these out all over the world, and I really want you to have one.
Oh, thank you.
From my heart
That's
to
so
yours.
sweet.
You
Thank
help
you,
so
Lyn-Dee.
many people. I don't want to say inspired because you said that's not the word. So, or I have to
Helps
tell you.
people overcome. Thank you.
Your energy is just soothing,
Oh, thank you.
energetic, lightning, and very contagious.
Thanks.
So these hearts is to help you through your times to give you the good energy.
Thank you. I'm all about energy. I actually learned Reiki to do my own self-care to, kind of just tone things down.
Please share with our audience how they can get in touch with you, Mary.
Sure. Hi, guys. You can find me on my website at maryehhart.com. That's maryehhart.com.
Wow. And everybody, yes,
You can.
You can do everything and anything more. And if the one thing that I got out of today is that you are a woman of many, many talents.
Thank you.
And going from being a writer, we understand now how you can enjoy writing your own book. You have also learned and how to interact with any kind of challenges that you feel that you have disabled-wise, right?
Yep.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
And then we've also spoken about,
So much.
so much. I mean, how to not be shy anymore. So with
Exactly.
that, everybody, yes, you can.
Yes.
In the happiness jungle, yes, you can. Mary, thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Say
Lyn-Dee.
goodbye to everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
We never said life was easy, but we did say you could be happier.
Yes.
Fantastic.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.